Hello everyone, DCB here and welcome to another video. Before we begin, I would like to once again thank you for joining me for one of the most interesting discussion videos I want to talk about. So obviously I want to put out a little disclaimer that some things that may be discussed in this video may be offensive or cause people certain issues. I do not deliberately mean to offend anyone. These are just things that I've come across, thoughts that I've had. They do not reflect any sort of personal vendettas I have against anyone of any certain structure. Okay? Okay. So, the thing I want to discuss today is false information, or fake news if you want, lies, deception, deceit. Unfortunately, these things are rife in the world, and it is so easy for these deceptions and lies and deceit to be spread. They are everywhere. They're in our mainstream media, they're on our news channels, they're in the papers we read, they're on the internet, they're in books, and they're even taught in schools. Unfortunately, luckily enough, with most books of a factual nature, they are vetted by people outside of the author, therefore making misinformation in them a lot less likely. Doesn't mean, of course, that the information written in that book at that time may not become different or untrue, depending on our advancement in the understanding of that field. Greatest example of this I can immediately think of was that in the early 19th century, it was still believed that horsepower, as in actual horses, was the greatest military asset to an army. This unfortunately led to countless avoidable deaths due to the adaptation of the improved machine gun and Gatling gun, as well as chemical warfare, and the invention of planes, which in the first few years of their invention went from simple observation planes to full-on fighting planes with machine guns, bombs, etc. Of course, talking about the First World War there, and just highlighting it. I don't want to go too deep into it. Of course, during the First World War and Second World War, there was a lot of propaganda spread, which had a negative reflection on certain aspects of certain people during the time, to promote a culture of hate and separatism from these people. Now, as we now know, most of that was just lies, deceit, deception, fake news, saying that these people were not equal to you, or even, better than you. You were better than them because you were born here and they were born there, or their religious differences. Religion was different to yours. So there's a lot of that in the past where religion has been used to promote a certain agenda, and using false information to get groups of people to fight against each other. There's been a lot of that. There's been an awful lot of that. Now, you don't have to believe anything I say. I've never said at any time that what I say is fact. These are just thoughts. These are just things I found, research that I've done, and these are the conclusions that I've come to. I've always highly stressed and highly said during these discussion videos, the philosophy videos, that you go out and do your own research. You go out and make up your own mind. The only downside of that being that because a lot of the information nowadays is not vetted, you can go into any website, and on the same website it will have contrasting information, even in newspapers. One day they'll have a headline about how strong a certain thing is, and then the next day how weak a certain thing is, or how mean another country's been to another country because they don't like something that we've done, or something like that. Yeah, I know it's difficult, and there's a lot of it. Unfortunately, there is a lot of it. President Trump used fake news to obviously get things done, to turn people against certain populaces. Now, I'm not saying that everything he said is a lie. I'm not also 100% defending what he said or what he's done. Same thing with the Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Once again, he has said things which aren't 100% true, promoted a rhetoric which wasn't 100% genuine, and then when he's made U-turns and changed his mind, he's said something else. As we know, with the current pandemic, it's the sort of things he says and the things he's missed to say seem to change enough on a daily, if not weekly basis. Or should that be weekly, if not daily basis? Decisions have been made without consulting experts that they have hired, and I don't understand it. I don't understand the need to lie. I don't understand the need to deceive. I don't understand the need to produce a false rhetoric. I don't understand the need to blur facts. Another example, in schools you've probably been taught this, that at some point in history people thought the world was flat, and unfortunately that belief is so highly thought of today that some people actually still believe that. Now, I can say no. When exactly in human history did we think it was flat? When? Our earliest ancestors were nomadic tribes who wanted the earth spreading the human species across the globe. Now, this is prehistory, before we settled down from hunter-gatherers. Now, if those hunter-gatherers thought the earth was flat, they never would have left their territory, the original territory. Or they would have stopped when the land ran out. But they didn't, they kept going. And even after we settled down into cities and towns and villages, I don't think we thought the earth was flat, because we knew towns got invaded by other towns when their food supplies were low. We got attacked from across the sea. Yeah, even in antiquity, there have been many things before the Common Era or before Christ, depending on how you want to do the calculations, where they were calculating the curvature of the earth with shadows and stuff. This was ancient history, So when? Please, somebody who is an expert of history, please do put in the comments below when it says in human history that we thought it was flat. What date? What person? What civilization? I would actually like to know if such a thing is actually out there, because that would help educate me and then allow me to look at it as well. Another thing is that, you might have heard this, Christopher Columbus discovered America. No, I'm sorry, it was more like the and it was a rediscovery because obviously people were living there to begin with. So obviously that group of people that were originally living there was sort of the discoverers of it. And as for America, there's been lots of archaeological evidence going back to the Vikings. The Vikings. Vikings, by the way, aren't a group of people. It was like a job description, and they came from the Norway, Scandinavian area, and their job was to go on a Viking, a quest, a journey, or pilgrimage, if you will, to find more fertile lands. Obviously, in the UK, they found very fertile, rich lands. They even settled. A lot of the names in northern England and in English come from Viking, like York and so on and so forth. York, Cork, Axe, things like that. This is how we know about their mythology, because it got integrated with the UK society. They also found Greenland and Iceland, which is why they're like a Norwegian heritage there. They also rediscovered like Canada and North America, thanks to archaeological evidence that has recently been found. So the things can change. But it is interesting. It's an interesting subject, and we have to be so careful with everything that we look at, and we have to double, triple, quadruple check it. Sometimes it's very difficult, especially when I want to make discussion videos about a certain subject or philosophy video about a certain thing. I have to go to so many places to find this information rather than just one source. I have to check. I have to source check my sources and then source check their sources, especially if I'm using the internet. Because as I can say, anyone can say anything on the internet, and with enough confidence and enough passion in what they're saying can make anyone believe it. This is also how cults are founded, through misinformation, through lies, deceit, through the passion of that cult. And we know that cults have a negative influence on things, same with pyramid schemes and stuff like that. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. What is your thoughts on deceit, lies, deception, fake news? Have you had anything like that happen to yourself? What have your experiences been with it? How do you think we can better arm ourselves to combat that fake news? And as I did say earlier, if you are a study of history, please put in the link in the comments below where it was first said that human civilization thought the earth was flat. I'll be interested to look at that myself. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like and share this video with those you think will find it interesting. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Until next one, this is DCB. Knowledge is power if we use it wisely.